Hello there, team. This is Joe Wazoo here. Hey, this video is going out to my friend David, who asked a question today, so I thought I'd make a video about this. In this video, we're going to talk about a function called ControlDevice that will allow you to manually turn on or off devices or enable them. What I mean by this is in Crimson, if you look, for instance, here at database I have here, if I go over to communications, and in this case, under whatever driver, whatever, but I've got a bunch of stuff under my 45 port. And as I go through all of these devices, you'll see that all of them by default are enabled. So if they're enabled here, that means when you download to that unit, it is part of that database or can run. Now, just so you know, if you disable, turn this off here, make that no, you go to download that to the red line unit, there's no way that I found to turn that on later on and in runtime or when the screen's up and running. So if you want, this basically turns it off and doesn't let it run at all in the database. So if you want control of that product, you go ahead and leave that yes, that's the default. So all of these are yes. And what I want to do here in this application is I would like to be able to manually turn on and off device number 2. Now, one thing I want to show you about my program here, this function, let me go back to our ControlDevice, which, by the way, let me show you. That is going to be in the lower right-hand corner of Crimson. Go down to System. And in System, if you expand your functions tree and then expand your comms device, you're going to see there's ControlDevice here, and then there's Enable and Disable. I think those kind of do the same, but this gives you more global control. Now, if you right-click on that and do Show Help Info, that should take you to the PDF on that particular thing. And the interesting thing is, you got your control device. The device can be either a number, that of the product, the device, or it can be the tag name, which I'll show you that in a second. And you either put a 0 here to turn it off, or a 1 in the enable to turn it on. So back here at Crimson, let's say I'm going to pick on slave number 2, device number 2 over here. So what I'll do, team, is over here, I'm going to right-click, or I'm going to click on this name again to where it turns blue. When it turns blue like that, go ahead and right-click and do copy. And all that does, that copies the text. It doesn't copy the device, it just copies the text. And that's really what I want to do here. Now, if I go back to data tags on the left, I'll just do a shortcut here. Let me create a flag tag, for instance. And on the flag tag, you can use the triggers tab to do your logic. So if you go to the triggers tab for your flag tag, notice, team, that since this tag is a flag, that means you only get 2 triggers, either enabled or disabled. If it was an X, then you would get all kinds of other choices. We want this to be a Boolean or a flag tag. So if I said here that if this thing went active on, I want to enable that device, I could choose active on. And then this window here, action, you can either hit the edit button here, which will open up some versions of Windows in the classes. This comes up real small. Let me show this here, and then I'll show it the other way. So you can basically grab the control device and drag it, whoops, highlight it over here on the right, drag this right here, boom, like that. You can also type it. Notice that my cursor is blinking in between the parentheses. So if I hold down Control V as in Victor, boom, that pastes the name in there, and then I'll do a comma, space 1. Oops, I want to put that inside the parentheses. Put a 1 in there, and then if I hit enter, it takes it. Now, instead of using the slave number 2, you could actually use back here the device number. I personally like the tag name myself. Otherwise, I got to look at what device that is, and that's more work. So that would turn it on, and then if I go to trigger 2, choose active off, do the opposite. I don't think I can do this. Let me look here. Can I drag this right here? Yeah, I guess I can. Okay, there. And I can do the same thing here. Control V, boom, puts it there, and then 0. That might be the other alternative. Anyway, so I have that already running on this other tag here, except I'm doing a little bit opposite. You can see I got active off and on. On turns it on, off is off, which makes sense to me. But let me show you what I was doing here. Over here on display pages, I got a little toggle button down here. Let me zoom in so you can see it. Over in the right, if you go to primitives, go into your two-state toggles, and I'm just using this standard toggle here. I think something like that I drug out. I guess I didn't drag the names out, but anyway, if I double click on this thing, I want you to see something. If I start off on the switch tab, this looks normal. That looks fine. I put that flag tag right here, and then on the advanced tab, I altered the numbers here, 0 and 1, and state A is what it's supposed to start on. So this is A off. Let's see what happens here, okay? Oh, one more thing. If when you download this to the unit, those devices are all going to be on automatically. In this program I've written here, I have a little program that's running here that, let me show you. On the main menu, I execute right on startup, I execute a program called Disable All Devices. So when I first power this thing up, I want all those devices to be turned off, and I want to manually turn on. That's really what I'm going to be doing eventually in this project. But if I go back to, is it that page? Where's it at? Here? Oh, that one. Okay, so that runs. Let me go to the program. I got to show you that program. And that program is right here. So that's a for loop. And all I do there is I go through and I, real quickly, it's a for loop that executes right when it starts up. And I set all of those devices to 0. I'm not using the slave name. I'm using the index here. So that's what happens there. All right, let's go ahead and download this to the unit. Let's see what happens. Wait for it to cycle power or come up here, team. Or maybe not. All right, so I'm going to go here to this page. This is where I'm playing. So here it is. You can see right here, just focus on number 2. That's the one I'm working on. Everything's off right now. If I toggle this, boom, look, it turns that device on. It's pulling the data right away. And then if I, of course, I turn it off, that turns it off. So the moral of my video here, is that over here, communications, you want to leave this enabled. And by default, when you download it, everything's going to be turned on. So like I said, I have a program here called Disable All Devices that right at startup, you may not want this, but most people will want all the devices enabled all the time. I'm doing something a little weird here. So I'm manually turning everything off right away, and that's giving me the access to do this part here on the fly. And that's what I'm doing here. So anyway, I just thought I'd show a quick video of how to use that function. Again, that function in this video is ControlDevice. And either you can put the device number here, or I like the name, and then 0 or 1, 0 for disable, 1 for enable. And that's about it. Hey, thanks a lot, folks. Have a great day. We'll see you later.